Hi, welcome to AM Prime here on the Content Capital WESN. I'm Leah Ann Jones. Happy Carnival Thursday. Carnival week is upon us. It's gearing up. Tomorrow will be Carnival Friday, the weekend, and of course, we're looking forward to the greatest show on earth, Carnival Monday and Tuesday next week. We give thanks for life this morning. Let's take a look at the Newsday newspaper headlines. Carnival, carnival, and more carnival on the Newsday newspaper front page. It's a wrap. The Junior Calypso Monarch Primary Schools competition. Traditional Mass, NCC's Traditional Mass at Adam Smith Square in Port of Spain. And more Junior Calypso Monarch on the back page of the Newsday. Regional bodies struggle to access government's carnival funding. Money woes for NCC. Regional bodies complain about the lack of funding for carnival. The head of the NCC, Winston Gypsy Peters, is saying it is yet to receive its promised subvention of $147 million from the government. And in other news, Progressive Democratic Patriots political leader Watson Duke has filed a police report over what he claims to be the behavior of his recently resigned deputy leader, Kezel Jackson. The deputy leader of the PDP has resigned, and Watson Duke has filed a police report, among other things, against Ms. Jackson. That's a look at the newspaper Newsday headlines. Coming up on today's show, we have Mr. David Abdullah, economist and political activist, and he will be here to discuss the dragon gas deal between this country and Venezuela. Also coming up in our Carnival Conversation segment, Calypso Monarch finalist Maria Bola joins us, and on our We Carnival stage segment in the second hour, Pan soloist Maria Thomas. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have Mr. Abdullah here with us this morning, and he is here to discuss with us the dragon gas deal that has been developing, the issue of the dragon gas deal that has been developing recently. Now, as you know, in August, or some of you may know, in August 2018, Prime Minister, the Honorable Keith Rowley would have signed a deal with the president of Venezuela, His Excellency Nicolas Maduro, for the terms of development of cross-border gas from the Venezuelan dragon gas field. This would have come to a stop in 2019. This deal would have stopped progressing in 2019 when the U.S. Government imposed sanctions on Venezuela. However, in January of this year, the U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control granted Trinidad and Tobago a waiver, a 2-year waiver, to continue the progress and to explore the dragon natural gas field in Venezuela. Here with us this morning, Mr. Abdullah is here to discuss the benefits of the dragon gas deal to TNT's economy. Good morning, Mr. Abdullah.
A very good morning to you, Leanne, and to all of your viewers. I hope you're hearing me.
Yes,
okay.
We're hearing you. Welcome and thanks for joining us this morning. Now, tell us that the granting of this waiver by the U.S. government to progress the development of the field suggests a turnaround for the economy in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, yes, it does, but of course that will take some time to happen because the decision by the U.S. government means that certain further negotiations now have to take place. Now, the U.S. government, and let me just state this up front, ought not to be the one to determine when and if and how Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago conduct their business and engage in this cross-border gas exploitation and production. This has only come about because the U.S. has unilaterally imposed sanctions on Venezuela. We maintain that unilateral sanctions really are illegal and illegitimate They're not pursuant to any decision of the United Nations Security Council, which is the only international body that can decide and determine that a country ought to be sanctioned. So the United States imposed sanctions on Venezuela for its own geopolitical reasons, because it wanted to get a change in regime in Venezuela and is using its economic power to try to achieve that. It hasn't succeeded in doing so, but of course the sanctions have placed tremendous burdens on the Venezuelan people, because Venezuela has not been able to export and produce its oil in the quantity that it ought to. Venezuela's assets have been seized in the United States. For example, Citgo, which is a subsidiary of PDVSA, the Venezuelan state company, Citgo was seized, and the resources of Citgo, which is one of the largest oil refiners, particularly in the Gulf area, the southern United States, those assets totaling many billions of US dollars were seized. And so Venezuela has been starved of revenue, of foreign exchange, and so on. And in this situation, as you clearly indicated, Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, as two sovereign states, have the right to do, negotiated and agreed that there should be the exploitation of gas from the Dragon field, which is in Venezuelan waters, which gas would then be piped via pipeline to a platform located in Trinidad and Tobago's waters. That platform is owned by Shell. And then the connection that Shell platform has to Point Lisas will then take the Dragon gas down into Point Lisas, where it will be monetized. Now, Trinidad and Tobago also has agreements with Venezuela to exploit what you said was the cross-border fields, which is the Lorraine Manatee fields, which gas field straddles the maritime border of Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. Now, the United States, by imposing sanctions unilaterally and illegally, in our view, it has the position that if a country or company engages in violating those sanctions, then the United States can impose sanctions on the third country. So it is not only seeking to impose sanctions illegitimately on Venezuela, it is seeking to impose sanctions on third countries and companies that may engage in economic activity with sanctioned, quote-unquote, Venezuela. And that is how the license has come about. They've now said, the United States, largely because of the war in Ukraine and the fact that oil supplies have been affected as the US and Western countries have sanctioned trade with Russia. So the global supply of oil to Western countries has been reduced, and so the price of oil went up. Similarly, the price of natural gas went up. And so the US sees this as a way of extricating itself from the sanctions against Russia by then allowing Venezuela to produce oil. And they have given a license for Chevron to produce oil, which Chevron has access to in Venezuela because of prior agreements between Chevron and Venezuela. And now they've set a license for Trinidad and Tobago so that Venezuela could produce gas and sell that gas to Trinidad and Tobago via the Dragon gas field. So that is the situation, but there are further negotiations to take place, because what the US has done is to say that, okay, this gas can be produced out of Dragon, but Trinidad and Tobago cannot, or the commercial end users of the gas, the petrochemical plants in Point Lisas or LNG, as the case may be, or NGC, National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, cannot pay for that gas in currency, in cash. They have to pay for the gas in kind, by way of some kind of other goods. Now, the US therefore is imposing conditions. Venezuela has rejected those conditions quite openly, and so there has to be further discussions between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela to see whether Venezuela will accept those conditions, whether they are going to reject it, whether Trinidad and Tobago has some counter offer, whether Trinidad and Tobago is going to negotiate further with the United States government to remove those conditions or have those conditions changed. So that hurdle has to be crossed. And then there are other hurdles, because investors have to be found to put up the money to build the pipeline between Dragon gas field and the Shell platform in Trinidad waters. And that requires time to get money. You have to engage in procurement, design and procurement of the pipeline, engineering the pipe, installing the pipe, and so on. So all of those things will take quite some time, probably at least 2 years, by which time the license will expire. So countries and companies have to also decide whether or not to continue with this, given that this license is only for 2 years, or whether they expect that having put down the infrastructure and invested the money, the license will then be extended, or better still, that the sanctions will be completely removed. So there's still a long way to go before we will get to any real benefit for Trinidad and Tobago. So I've taken a little while to answer what appeared to be a very simple, straightforward question, yeah. But I hope that clarifies.
Thank you. Thank you, actually. So you've actually answered 3 of my questions there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not a problem. So just a little bit more on the pre-agreed upon conditions based on the US's agreement to waiver the sanctions. What, in your opinion, would be the other methods of payment that Trinidad and Tobago may be able to consider giving to Venezuela?
Well, apparently, and this is according to Dr. Rowley, when he made the announcement of the issuing of this license, he said that the U.S. specifies that payment will have to be made by way of things like food and medicines and goods of that nature. Now, that is the U.S.'s position. Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela could arrive at other non-cash payments. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. In other words, the supply of ammonia fertilizer, for example, out of our ammonia plants might be one alternative approach to what would in fact be a barter type agreement. In other words, you're trading goods for goods and not goods for cash in terms of barter. So there may be some other options that could be explored. And this, of course, would have to be done between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, first of all, and then Trinidad and Tobago dealing with the United States. Now, the Minister of Energy did go to Venezuela a week ago and has come back, and he met, according to media releases coming out of Venezuela, with the Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, together with the Minister of Energy or Petroleum in Venezuela, and probably the head of PDVSA. We don't know what the outcome of those discussions were, because Minister Young has made no statement, neither has the government made any statement about what transpired in that meeting and whether there is a path forward given the conditions that the U.S. has imposed. So we will see. As I said, there may be some other options of barter other than food and medicine. Because Trinidad and Tobago doesn't produce medicine. It therefore means that we'll be importing to sell, to trade. And the foreign exchange benefit for the country, therefore, would be somewhat minimized in terms, and the value added for Trinidad and Tobago would be minimized. Whereas if the gas comes in and it therefore enables our petrochemical plants to ramp up production to 100% because we are short of natural gas. And so if we get more production, that will be value added to Trinidad and Tobago. We get more taxes out of the ammonia plants. If we then barter the ammonia with Venezuela for Venezuela's gas, that will be more beneficial to us. And there may be other options. I haven't done an actual study, and I'm sure other people are doing those studies, including perhaps NGC and the government. But we have to wait to see what transpires, first of all, between the governments of Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela as to whether Venezuela is prepared to accept terms of its development, of its sovereign right over its natural gas to be determined by an imperial power, namely the United States. President Maduro has quite correctly labeled it a colonial position or attitude and posture by the United States, and he said that Venezuela is not prepared to accept that kind of colonial imposition. And he called on CARICOM, he didn't specify Trinidad, he called on CARICOM to also reject it. Interestingly, President Irfan Ali has been making some very strong and important and correct statements that CARICOM has to assert its sovereign right to produce energy in the way in which it sees fit, to exploit our hydrocarbon resources in the way we see fit. And I think that is an indication as well to the United States not to impose conditions with respect to the Dragon gas field. And so this CARICOM heads of government meeting, which started in formal session last night, formal opening, and which is continuing today and tomorrow, and I'm issuing a statement later today on this question. CARICOM ought to be saying to the United States, remove completely the sanctions on Venezuela, because that has implications not only for our economic development, but it also has implications for issues of migration, because obviously a stronger Venezuelan economy with no sanctions will mean fewer people leaving Venezuelan shores to come into Trinidad and Tobago. So that deals with one of our problems here as well. And issues of security obviously would be reduced or improved. So I'm going to be issuing a statement to CARICOM calling on them to take a position, not simply to take this first minor step, Mr. United States, to issue a license which in fact is a waiver of the sanctions for Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela with respect to Dragon, but calling on CARICOM to tell the United States to remove sanctions completely on Venezuela, and also to remove the blockade against Cuba completely, and remove Cuba from the list of so-called states that are engaged in state-sponsored terrorism, which of course is a fabrication by the United States, and also that we have to deal properly with the situation in Haiti. So this CARICOM meeting in Bahamas is a very crucial meeting in terms of regional and hemispheric relations, and ensuring that we are not in the backyard of the United States and are simply accepting whatever they say and want.
What happens, Mr. Abdullah, after the 2-year waiver is up? You touched on it a little bit, but say we come to an agreement in terms of the conditions for the use of the field. The pipeline is developed. We put things in place. We get our investors in place. 2 years of waiver is up. What are the next steps for the government, and how is this business conducted, especially as it pertains to maintaining good relationship with the U.S. government while trying to maintain our CARICOM stance, as you put it?
Yeah, key question, because of course in 2 years there'll be an election in the United, well, elections more than one. There'll be the presidential elections in November of 2024, and there'll also be congressional elections, both for the House, and some Senate seats will also be up for elections. Elections for governors, a number of governors and state legislatures and so on. So the issue of whether President Biden will run, we don't know if he's going to contest, or whoever represents the Democratic Party, will they win the presidential elections? Will they not? Will you get Donald Trump winning the elections, which is not an impossible position to consider, and therefore, persons who are lending money, financial institutions that are lending money for this project, the investor Shell, for example, which has its platform and therefore has to be integral to the whole process, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago. All of these things now have to be considered in a risk analysis. What if the elections in the United States turns out to be a major Republican victory, and you get extreme right-wing, hostile persons to the interests of Venezuela and CARICOM winning the elections? Remember what Trump said about Haiti, right, and other countries? He called them, an S-hole country. So if that happens, the license might simply not be renewed. If money was lent and investment started and pipes were procured and maybe started to be installed, then that would simply remain under the sea and no gas could be produced. So there are risks involved in this 2-year license, which is why we have to push now hard for a complete removal of the sanctions. Because if there are no sanctions, then it reduces the risk of what would happen in 2 years. Even if there's a Republican victory in 2 years, it might be difficult for them to reimpose sanctions right away, in which case the gas would be being produced. Investors will get back their money. Trinidad and Tobago would benefit in terms of more gas coming in. Our petrochemical production would be ramped up. LNG production could be ramped up. We would get more foreign exchange, more tax revenue. Of course, there'll be employment during the installation of the pipeline, engineering works, which Trinidad and Tobago service companies will benefit from. So economic benefits will flow for certain. So we have to push, I think, now for while President Biden is there, while the Democrats have control of the Senate, and while the House, although Republicans have control, it's a very narrow margin. And so we need to push hard now for the complete removal of sanctions on Venezuela.
And there are many factors affecting the decision
Yes.
to move forward. I understand that. What could be some of the possible implications if for some reason the deal between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago were to fall through?
Well, if it was to fall through because of the U.S., let's put the blame squarely there on the U.S. and the sanctions and so on, and the short-lived nature of the license, then we are in trouble with respect to our output of natural gas. We are now producing under 3 billion standard cubic feet of gas per day, when the demand for gas in terms of the capacity of the petrochemical plants and the 4 LNG trains is closer to 4 billion cubic feet of gas per day. So we have a shortfall of gas, and what this means, therefore, is that Train 1 is shut down. It also means that the ammonia and methanol plants in Point Nisas are not operating at 100% of capacity. They, for a period last year, were also, and in 2021, were also shut down. But when prices of ammonia and methanol tripled in 2022, they resumed production because even at 70% output, they were able to make a significant profit. So if prices of ammonia and methanol were to decline for some reason because of the situation in Ukraine and Russia was to stabilize, which I don't think will happen in the near future, but assuming that it does and ammonia, methanol, natural gas prices were to fall, then plants would shut down again. We would lose government revenue, lose foreign exchange, workers would be laid off, and that would be the implication. So this gas deal with Venezuela is very important because although a number of companies like BP and Shell and so on, Woodside, former BHP, are engaged in gas exploration in Trinidad and Tobago waters, we are not certain as to how much gas they will find and produce and when that gas will come on stream. And therefore, the Dragon gas and the Lorraine Manatee gas, which is cross-border, and some of the other gas fields in Venezuela that could be piped into Trinidad for monetizing here, is very important for our gas supply going forward, security of supply going forward, and therefore securing our energy sector, the critical gas component of our energy sector and downstream of gas for the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Well, Mr. Abdullah, before we wrap, the Prime Minister seems to be very hopeful about this deal coming to fruition. And in his address in the recent International Energy Conference, he would have stated that Trinidad and Tobago provides a viable option for other countries in the region who wish to monetize their hydrocarbon resources by using our already in place energy infrastructure, such as the ammonia plants, the steel and iron refinery, the LNG plants, etc. And he's also mentioned the possibility of, or the availability of the Point-a-Pear refinery, being able to upgrade it and restart it, of course, for if they would like to use it, of course, for monetary exchange. What are your thoughts on the viability of the use of the Pointe-a-Pierre refinery?
Well, I saw in today's Guardian, I just picked up the newspapers. I haven't had a chance to read the story, but the headline in the Guardian is "Thanks but no. Guyana blanks PM's refinery overture, says it wants to be self-sufficient." So I haven't had a chance to read the story. That's just what the headline says. So the issue of refining oil out of Guyana in Pointe-a-Pierre seems to be remote, although I don't know that is Guyana's decision, because it was really ExxonMobil that is producing the oil, not Guyana. It's not a Guyana state company. But Guyana, I think, would like to maybe have a refinery established in Guyana. And, excuse me, any investor downstream, be it ExxonMobil or anybody else, considering where the oil producing Guyana should be refined, will have to look at the costs and benefits, and whether it will be cheaper and more efficient to build what is known as a greenfield, a brand new oil refinery, state of the art in Guyana, or to try to bring back the Pointe-a-Pierre refinery into production. Now, bringing back the Pointe-a-Pierre refinery into production maybe take a shorter length of time, but it will be quite expensive because the refinery now has been shut down for 4.5 years. And therefore, plant and equipment, which was not in good condition when it was closed down, is in much worse condition now, and would require upwards, I think, of $500 to $600 million to get it back into a safe and reliable condition for startup, and that will take at least a year. So we will see what happens there. Whether there are other people who could perhaps get into that project. But Trinidad and Tobago messed up big time. The government made a horrendous decision when it closed the refinery, because as we heard from the Minister of Trade last week, the loans that Petrotrin had taken out, and which it was servicing, both in terms of principal and interest on the $750 million loan, and they were serving the interest on the $850 million bullet payment loan, fully out of its own income and revenue stream and so on. When the refinery was closed down, those debts then have been taken over by Heritage and have been refinanced not once but twice. Now, in this situation, if we had a refinery, refiners were making profits of 300-400% in 2022. Huge profits, and you saw the profits of Exxon and Shell and all, BP and so on, making humongous profits. And had we had the refinery up and running, we would have had a refinery that would have generated significant profits in end of 2021, throughout 2022, and into 2023. And those extra profits could have been used to pay off those loans completely, and we'd have been in a very good position. So closing down the refinery made no sense. It also meant that we have no bitumen in the country, locally produced. So we have to import bitumen and use scarce foreign exchange to do that, to fix our roads. And that's one of the reasons why our roads are in such a bad condition, because the refinery was shut down. Quite apart from a loss of economic activity, jobs, loss of contributions to NIS for tax and other things like that, by the closure of the refinery and the sending home of all 5,000 Petrotrin workers. So it was a bad decision, and it is not one that can be easily recouped, because for 4.5 years, the government has been unable to finalize a buyer or someone to lease the refinery to continue refining operations in Trinidad.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. That's all the time we have for our interview this morning. So thanks for taking the time and for sharing with us your thoughts on the impeding dragon gas deal between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much for having me. And let me wish everybody a safe, peaceful, and happy Carnival.
Same to you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have our Carnival Conversation segment.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WASN,
the content capital.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Site, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. only on WESN, Content Capital.
Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra presents The Power of Pan and Kaiso. Carnival Monday at 1 p.m. and Carnival Tuesday at 7 a.m. from Central Bank along the Brian Lara Promenade, Independence Square, Port of Spain. Tickets cost $250. Available at the Pan Yard, Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine, and at Radical Designs outlets nationwide. Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra. The Power of Pan and Kaiso. Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Welcome back. We're moving on to our carnival conversations this morning. And today, this morning, we have a Calypso finalist, Calypso Monarch finalist, Miss Maria Bowler. Welcome, Miss Bowler.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Now, you have been in this industry, you have been doing this about 3 decades. You're a 2-time Calypso Monarch finalist, a 2-time national political and current reigning monarch, and a former national Calypso queen. Before we get into your 2023 season, tell us about your journey a little bit, how you got into it, your little history in Kaiso.
Okay, well, when I was 8 years old, my grandfather penned a Calypso for me, and I performed this Calypso at my primary school, Karapo RC, and I really liked the reaction of the audience, and I never turned back. The very next year, I wrote my own Calypso, and I have been composing ever since.
Thank you. Tell me about your, the return to Skinner Park last weekend. You would have performed at Skinner Park last weekend, newly refurbished. Calypso Fiesta has returned to its home. How was it for you performing at Skinner Park?
It was a really, really refreshing experience. I mean, after having a 2-year hiatus, we really needed that sense of freedom. and I absolutely enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed it.
Now tell me, how hopeful are you going into the finals this weekend?
I am very hopeful. I don't think any contestant would want to be anything but hopeful. My intention is really to just go out there and give it my very best. I really, really want to put on a great showing. That's the plan.
You are known, Ms. Bola, for the performative aspect of your performances, your presentations, the theatrics, as you like to call it. Tell us a little bit about your background in theater.
Oh, theater. Oh, Best Village. Definitely, that was the start. Best Village. And I am so grateful for my experience with that. I studied theater arts at the University of the West Indies. And it's just something that I love. I have a passion for it.
Tell us about your song for this year, your presentation this year.
Oh, People Man, right. Well, as a Calypsonian, on a personal level, I like to keep it topical. You want your topics to resonate with the people. And we know that hoarding is always topical. So, hence the reason I said I think that this would be a good subject matter to deal with. Apart from the humor that, some people would say they get from it, the fact is it is a very serious social issue. So it is also a serious social commentary.
In the past, you would have collaborated with Terry Lyons on one of your presentations. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, sure. Terry that was in 2020. Well, even before that, we did a few little things together. But in 2020, she came to me, and it was a year that she was actually thinking of not competing. But, we decided to pool together and see what we can come up with at the last minute. And fortunately, it went very well for her, which I'm truly, truly happy about. Megan, my dear, that's a song that I penned for her.
Now, this Carnival 2023 is being touted as the mother of all carnivals. Does it feel that way to you, and why?
Well, if I were to just focus on the calypso aspect of it, I would have to say not really. Because even at a very young age, my greatest desire was to be able to hit that, what we call that big yard stage, and to perform for both the North Stand and the Grandstand. I'm not too sure that is happening this year. And this is going to be my third year in the finals. And I am yet to sing to North Stand and Grandstand. My first year was actually when it was held at Jean Pierre Complex. That was devastating for me. And then, in 2019, I performed for just the Grandstand. So, I had so much hope that, okay, the mother of all carnivals, we're going to bring back the North Stand. But I'm not too sure that is happening.
We're good. So thank you very much, Ms. Bola. I want to wish you all the best in your upcoming competition this weekend.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me.
And do enjoy it. We look forward to seeing your performance.
Yes. Thank you so much.
When we come back, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a video of Ms. Bola's performance at Calypso Fiesta over the weekend, last weekend.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing now, Andy.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title? Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white, and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Know the signs of fraudulent investment. Follow the ABCs of investing. Ask questions. Beware of investment fraud. And check with the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission first to verify that the individual and investment are registered. Protect you and your loved ones from investment fraud.
It's a fantastic February at Massage Haven as we celebrate Valentine's Carnival and our 1-year anniversary. For the entire month of February, take advantage of our special packages. For Valentine's, show your love with our Lovebirds and I Just Adore You packages. Carnival, let's help you glow with 20% off on all sauna and massage combos. And as we turn 1 year old, special complimentary Massage Haven tokens of gratitude and keepsakes within our anniversary week. Massage Haven, 157B, Monroe Road, Cunupia.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
It's a fantastic February at Massage Haven as we celebrate Valentine's Carnival and our 1-year anniversary. For the entire month of February, take advantage of our special packages. For Valentine's, show your love with our Lovebirds and I Just Adore You packages. Carnival, let's help you glow with 20% off on all sauna and massage combos. And as we turn 1 year old, special complimentary Massage Haven tokens of gratitude and keepsakes within our anniversary week. Massage Haven, 157B, Monroe Road, Cunupia. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission advises that it is now a criminal offense to operate, advertise, participate, or invite persons to join a prohibited scheme such as Ponzi and pyramid-type financial arrangements. You can now be fined up to $10 million or face 10 years in prison. Visit our website for more information.
We're going to take a look now at Maria Bola's performance at last weekend's Calypso Fiesta semifinals.
You're still playing hide and seek. Lady, I know you with me, man, and I know me, man, with you. So let's just have that discussion about what we going to do. Mondays we just eat leftovers, but he really like fresh food. So maybe you could make that your cook day, cause I really don't be in the mood. Tuesdays I go to yoga, and he goes to the gym. perfectly fit and slim. Don't get no horrors about how we run we home. If anything is not to your liking, you're free to find a man of your own. You want people, people man. You want people, people man. We have rules and regulation. When you want people man, you want people, people man. You want people, people man. You got to make a contribution when you borrow it, people man. Yes, we complaining how them outside woman is tears. Long ago they used to be discreet, today they're bold-faced with their affairs. Well, since it ain't no secret, I know about you and you know about me. Me and wasting no time message string. Welcome to the family. Wednesdays them children have lessons. Daniel catching he tell with maths. I hope you at least have some passes, so maybe you could help him with that. Cause there's this dance and drama and sporting activities. I go do the drop off and pick up, and maybe you could handle the fees. Don't get no horrors. Me, I want you breaking your neck. And if you find it's too much of pressure, you're free to find a next home to rent. You want people, people man. You want people, people man. Well, you better pull your hand when you want people, man. You want people, people man. You want people, people man. Come with a little donation when you borrow it, people man. Mortgage, lights and cable. Honey, them bills don't be light. You could at least pay the Wi-Fi. We know you love to WhatsApp at night. Don't worry about the groceries, I can manage on your meal plan. But you could help out with the susu. I know he just give you about half the hand. Fridays we spend as a family, and we usually go somewhere. But my card on full already, so you go have to make your way there. Saturday, well, dice get night. And now that we talking in trees, I feel those are all you could fix up. I safer with my batteries, don't get no horrors. Me, I want you to be in shock. And if you find that I'm too demanding, you're free to find our next man to rock. You want people, people man. You want people, people man. You can't mess with the plan when you want people, man. You want people, people man. You want people, people man. Book your session in double palm when you borrow it, people man. Hello. All them women who out here laughing and shouting, sing, bola, sing. I could bet all my money, them is the ones who wearing the ring. But when last you clip your toenail, or you take out the garbage instead, put down your bloody cell phone, have a conversation and rub your head. Sundays you always complaining how you don't get no help at all. And all he does do is cock up, drink his beer and watch his football. Well, girlfriend, you can't play stupid when them outside woman real ball. It's to go and cock up in front him and show him where to score the goal. You can't be complaining how all you don't have no fun. But it's 24/7, you smelling like Clorox and money. They want people, people man. They want people, people man. Girl, you better take your stand, cause they want people, man. They want people, people man. They want people, people man. Fayan might upgrade your plan, cause they borrow a people, man. Skill up, people man. People
That was contestant appearing in position number 11, Maria Bola Paul.
That was Mahalia Bola with her 2023 contribution at a Calypso Fiesta over the weekend, The People Man. News at the top of the hour is on next. Stay with us.
Here's your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Starlift to kick off large bands finals on Saturday. Komoto Manzanilla MP calls for vigilance as no lifeguards present at beach. PDP Deputy Leader Kizal Jackson resigns. And internationally, 4 more arrested over plot to kill Haiti's president. Now for the details. This Saturday night, the finals of the large conventional bands category in this year's Panorama Steel Festival is on. The official draw took place on Wednesday. The official order of appearance for the large conventional category was released with Starlift to start and Invaders to end. The show begins at 7 p.m. Komoto Manzanilla MP Rai Ragbir is advising his constituents and, by extension, Trinidad and Tobago to be vigilant as the Manzanilla Beach facility is currently closed due to renovations that are almost completed. Therefore, there are no lifeguards available throughout the Manzanilla Beach as of now. He especially cautioned those planning to visit the beach within the carnival period. Parents are also being advised to be observant and careful with their children as they may be easily distracted by the water. Kizal Jackson has resigned her position as deputy political leader of the PDP. In a post on her social media page, Jackson stated that she resigned on Wednesday. The decision was made as she said party leader Watson Duke is not stable enough to have her genuine support as a deputy leader. She added that his behavior is too impulsive and grossly disrespectful. Jackson says that Duke has made every effort to tarnish her name and public credibility. She says she can no longer lie to the public and herself. Jackson says she's not without fault and takes accountability for her actions and behavior on a personal level with Mr. Duke, which was inappropriate and morally wrong. In international news now, U.S. police have arrested 4 more people for alleged roles in the plot to assassinate Haitian President Jovenel Moïse in 2021. One of the suspects is the owner of a Florida-based security company, which authorities say hired Colombian ex-soldiers for the mission. President Moïse was shot and killed at his home in Port-au-Prince, reportedly by Spanish-speaking foreign mercenaries. 11 suspects are now in U.S. custody. Well, that was your news to the hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to take a look at some more newspaper headlines this morning. The Children's Authority overwhelmed. The Children's Authority was initially set up to help 1,200 vulnerable children yearly, but the demand has raised to over 5,000 children. This was told by Acting Director Sharon Morris Cummings to the Public Accounts Committee at a meeting held on Wednesday. Morris Cummings said that the authority now has 236 employees versus the planned 942 employees that was said to be needed based on a restructuring, an organizational restructuring that was conducted. Noting that they had 40 resignations in the last year. Morris Cummings is blaming low salaries, and she says the turnover is a challenge. And in sport, TT, Trinidad and Tobago Under-17 football squad advanced to CONCACAF Under-17 Championship round of 16. Congrats to the boys. And in the Tobago Newsday newspapers, chaos at Scarborough Port as the Inter-Island Transportation Company Limited denies overbooking the ferry on Monday's sailing. The APT James Fast Ferry from Scarborough to Port of Spain, saw a lot of confirmed persons being turned away as a result of missing the cutoff point for coming onto the ferry. So there was a lot of mix-up, a lot of complaints on Monday at the port, and the Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Company Limited has made it clear that they did not, in fact, overbook the ferry. We are continuing with our conversations, and coming up on our We Carnival stage segment this morning, we have with us this morning Mahalia Thomas, solo panist. She's been in the business for about 15 years now, so she's very well known to the local community. Joining us now, Ms. Mahalia Thomas. She's in studio with us. Welcome, Mahalia. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Tell us, Mahalia, for those of you who may not know, tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get into pan?
Okay, so strangely enough, I didn't want to play pan. So it was more of my mom. She really, really encouraged me to play pan. I think that was one of the best decisions. And currently, right now, I'm here. People hire me for events, and that brings me a lot of joy. And that's where I am today.
At what age did you start playing pan?
Roughly about 10, 11, around there.
And this is something that you basically do for a living. So when did you decide, after 10-year-old Mahalia was encouraged to play pan, when did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
To be quite honest, it just happened. So it was like, people started calling me a little bit more to do events. I was like, but hey, I could really, start making some money off of this. And so probably that started more, I would say, like around roughly about 5, 6, roughly around 6 years, and people started more, calling me. And I was like, okay, well, hey, let's do this.
Tell us about your Carnival 2023 season. How has it been for you thus far?
Okay, so Carnival 2023, I have been playing Panorama. I played with Arima All-Stars for single pan category. And then I did medium with Typical and Melodians. It has been a lot of fun. Playing with bands, with everybody. That get a whole different feeling. I'm really glad that we had Panorama this year, because those 2 years off, really missed it.
Everybody had a challenge during the hiatus of the COVID pandemic. Tell us, how was it for you?
It was a major adjustment, because obviously, people you have no more events. So now you have to adjust to the time. So now you had to do the events online. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So, business was a little bit slow, because, you have to start back to get accustomed to this new change. And, well, thank God we're open back up for business. So I'm back outside, and I prefer the more physical events where you could actually see the person and people in person. They have that whole vibe. You're seeing everybody enjoying the performance, who wants to come on stage, that kind of thing.
And what are your goals after Carnival? Carnival 2023 is soon over, unfortunately. What are your goals for the rest of this year?
Okay, so I am more trying to encourage myself and try to more brand myself to be more, be more on social media, do more events. I'm planning to have my own little thing as well. I haven't started it. I've been procrastinating for a while, but you know, I said, let's do this. This has to be the year.
Okay, so we're looking forward to an event by Mahalia Thomas coming up this year.
Yes.
Tell me, what is your motivation behind playing pan?
What is my motivation? I guess, how to put it? When I'm behind the pan, it really makes me happy. Like, you literally forget all your worries. And I love entertainment, like performing for people. That's really a lot of fun for me. So I guess that more drives me, and I want to be like be on an international level as well with regards to the steel pan. So that's where I'm planning to go.
Now, Mahalia, as we understand, pan is your love, pan is what you do on a day-to-day basis, but you have a degree in science?
Yes, I do. Like I said, it wasn't planned. So I have a bachelor's degree in biology. Yeah, I know, we get that look a lot. And, you know, I still do the pan like I did, like, you know, I have like up to grade 4 in like music theory, and I have a degree in biology and a master's in HSC, but, you know, here I am. Yeah, I get that look a lot. Like how you're in science, but you're doing music.
What is your greatest accomplishment to date?
Well, in 2021, I actually released my original song, and that is called Spotlight. You all can check it out on all platforms. I know, get it on Spotify, guys. And doing that for me was a really great experience, especially working with ICNTT as well with their Spotlight program.
Now, the show that you have in the works that you plan to put on this year, is that going to feature more of your own music?
Well, so far I only have one original song. I am hoping I'm going to stop procrastinating to actually do my other song as well, so you can look out for that as well. And it'll be like Mahalia and Friends.
Speaking about Friends, any collaborations?
Oh, well, not yet. Well, we haven't set like dates and stuff, but I do plan to, you know, do more collaborations as well.
Okay. Now, those of you viewing us right now won't be able to see until we get to the performance. However, in past interviews, Mahalia is known for having decoration on her pan. Her pan is always beautifully decorated with flowers and such. What is the reason for the decoration on the pan?
Well, for me, I just like to do things a little bit different. It's like, why have a plain pan? Let's just put something on it, and that has just become my thing. So wherever usually when you see me, you usually see decorations on my pan.
So it's your trademark?
You can say so, yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mahalia, for sharing with us this morning. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a performance from Mahalia, solo panist, Trinidad and Tobago National. Thank you.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra presents The Power of Pan and Kaiso. Carnival Monday at 1 p.m. and Carnival Tuesday at 7 a.m. from Central Bank along the Brian Lara Promenade, Independence Square, Port of Spain. Tickets cost $250. Available at the Pan Yard, Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine, and at Radical Designs outlets nationwide. Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra, the power of Pan and Kaiso.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. only on WESN, Content Capital.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movie Town, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing now.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Thanks for staying with us. Up next in our Carnival stage segment, Mahalia Thomas performs Hookin' Me, from Manapi's Hookin' Me, and Savannah Grass by Kess. This is Mahalia Thomas.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it. Right. Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Know the signs of fraudulent investment. Follow the ABCs of investing. Ask questions. Beware of investment fraud. And check with the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission first to verify that the individual and investment are registered. Protect you and your loved ones from investment fraud.
It's a fantastic February at Massage Haven as we celebrate Valentine's Carnival and our 1-year anniversary. For the entire month of February, take advantage of our special packages. For Valentine's, show your love with our Lovebirds and I Just Adore You packages. Carnival, let's help you glow with 20% off on all sauna and massage combos. And as we turn 1 year old, special complimentary Massage Haven tokens of gratitude and keepsakes within our anniversary week. Massage Haven, 157B, Monroe Road, Cunupia.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Thomas, Farmer Nappies, Hook'n'ma, and Kess's Savannah Grass. The lovely melody of our sweet pan music, our national instrument, and one of the biggest aspects of Trinidad and Tobago's carnival. That's how we wrap the show today. Thanks for staying with us here on AM Prime on WESN. Be sure to look out for Keaton and Sean. They are on at the top of the hour with a talking point. Check us out on all our social media at WESNCC. And to get in touch with us, you can email us at amprimewesn@gmail.com. Whatever your plans are for this Carnival Thursday, do enjoy, stay safe, and see you again tomorrow.
WESN.
I am Sule A. Joseph, and we are WESN, Content Capital.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered.
The conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
I'm Andre El Batiste, and you're watching WESN, the Content Capital.